Welcome to the Death Battle Cast, where Liam stares into your soul until you die a horrible death.
You will be mine.
Oh God.
Yep,
What's happening, guys?
That's Liam's voice after RTX.
Yeah.
Things change at RTX.
Oh yeah.
People change.
That's about where my voice is at, by the way. So.
Oh shit!
Wow,
Yeah.
You're not kidding,
Chad. I mean, I'm actually surprised you're here, Chad, because I know typically after an event like RTX, you just like my voice is shot. But
I
you're
was
here. Thanks for being
tempted. I
here.
was tempted to be like, maybe I sit this one out because I need to get it back. I would have been fine, man. I was doing so good. And then we went to that platinum party and it was the loudest thing in the entire world. But I still wanted, like, because that was like the platinum badge holders, right? And I was like, they paid a lot of money to be here. I want to go say hi. And so like we were just leaning in and just screaming into each other's ears to hear. And I was like, well, that did it. That's the end.
Aw. Well, glad you're here. Hopefully, we won't have you shouting or being too loud during.
Chad, that
class. I mean,
reminds me
you're-
of an old saying. Would you like to? And it's a saying that I have on this T-shirt that I just purchased
Oh
and
God.
just arrived today.
We are all dogs in God's hot car.
Okay. Also, Nick is here.
Hi.
Hey, Nick.
Hello.
Hey, Nick.
Hi. What's up?
What? It's a
How's
fun
it going?
T-shirt.
Glad to have you.
I'm glad
Uh,
to be had.
Do we want to talk about RTX a
Scope.
second?
Yeah, Tyscope, Chad is mentioning that, hey, he's got a life hack for you. Just learn sign language. You'll be fine. Cool. He's ready.
Yeah, so this past
Yeah,
weekend was
RTX is great.
RTX. If you guys didn't hear, which is the Rooster Teeth Expo, like our big convention that we get to go out and haven't got to see people in person for 2.5 years now. Yeah.
In a little
So-
while.
It was absolutely awesome. Just getting to see. If you were out there, like say hi in the chat. Because it was really cool. We got to do a death battle panel. We did death battle signing. We got to meet so many people and say thank you for watching our stuff. And I know we were just all incredibly excited to be back around to people again, and also seeing each other and meeting coworkers that got hired in the pandemic that we've never actually met in person before.
That
Yeah.
was wild. There are a couple of people that we work with now that weren't part of Rooster Teeth when the pandemic started. It was crazy to be like, oh my gosh, it's finally good to see you.
It's you.
Yeah, I'll put
Talk
myself
with you
on
every
blast.
day.
I'll put myself on blast because it's funny. The other thing that was really hard was like a lot of these people we haven't seen for a long time, and everybody's wearing masks. So I would have like a delay where someone would say hi, and I didn't know, like, is this a fan saying hi? Or like, is this somebody I know? And then it would click. But the longest and most awkward one happened with Liam
Yes.
because
I missed this.
so Liam finds me. Yeah, I didn't tell you because I wanted to tell you on the podcast. Liam finds me on the expo hall floor and just zooms up and just like, hey Chad. And I'm like, hey, and I like some friends and I was like, what's up? And like I could not tell who this was. And so I thought it was a fan at first. So I was just like,
Yeah.
oh hey, yeah, da, da, da. And we started
It was-
to talk. And like
it was like a very like
we were like
I
a
want to
minute
say
in.
cold but very reserved. Like, hey, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I was
are
like-
you-
Like,
are you
I'm busy. I'm
today?
talking to other people.
He's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're about a minute in, and he does some expression like with his eyes that then I was just like, and I literally went, oh my fucking God, dude, I'm so sorry. I gave him a hug. I was like, I had no idea that was you. Like,
I was like, oh fuck, okay.
it was very
I
funny.
was I was a little worried that would happen with me and maybe a couple of the researchers who came to visit.
Yeah.
It was great to see because a bunch of them I hadn't ever seen in person before.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, am I gonna recognize Speedy when he shows up? You know, or you know, whoever.
Yeah, or like, you know,
but
because you
Luckily, everybody was together, so I was like, okay, it's easy to pick out
Yeah.
who's who. But yeah, it didn't end up being a problem, fortunately. But it was great seeing everybody. And again, thank you to everybody who was able to show up, who was able to come to the Death Battle panel in particular. We talked about some cool stuff.
Yeah, really. You want to
Um,
rattle off the high level announcements for anybody that missed it?
Sure. Well, yeah, we might as well just go ahead and hit that. So first things first, Boba Fett versus Predator is out for everyone today, or yesterday, whatever.
But even his
during
time.
the panel, I was like, guys, Boba Fett versus Predator is about to air. And I said it like multiple times during the panel, not realizing
Yeah,
that the
dude.
panel was on Saturday and not Sunday. I don't know what was going on in my head.
I just assumed he knew better than me because I was like, I actually like said out loud, like, but quietly, I was like, in 5 minutes tomorrow, right?
I must have missed that because I was like, I doubled down, I tripled down. I'm like, Boba Fett versus Predator airs like halfway through this panel, guys. We were like 24 hours out. But it is out now. The response has been amazing so far. It got like on trending for gaming for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason.
I don't really know what YouTube's thinking, but you got on trending, which is still awesome. And it's been cool seeing the reaction to especially Predator appearing in Death Battle and how we like brought such a broad character into the Death Battle rule set and whatnot. So very excited for that one. Props to Liam and his team for making that. And Daito's animation team. So of course there's that. Be sure to check that out. That is the last episode of the first chunk of this season. Which sounds weird, but we're doing the same thing we usually do, or we have been doing for the past couple of years, where there's a first half of this season of Death Battle. Then we go on a little break over the summer, and then the second half will air in the fall. 2 caveats to that, though. One is there will be a show in between during the summer, and it is going to be Desk of Death Battle. Desk of Death Battle is coming back for a limited run with Jocelyn. Lisa Foyles is, of course, reprising Jocelyn, animated this time. So it's going to be, there she is. It is going to be so much fun. We've been going over scripts and recording with Lisa the past few weeks, and I'm very excited for you guys to see this. We even have like a brand new set for her. It's really cool. It's really exciting. So that is going to be kicking up very soon. But before that, there's also one other thing. We have a bonus death battle coming. Ta-da! So this episode was not originally planned when we made this season. That's why it is a bonus episode. It is going to be Excalibur versus Ryden. That is Excalibur from Warframe versus Ryden from Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. War of the Machines, or whatever the hell that game is called. Basically, cyborg, robot, ninja death battle type thing. We're very excited for it. The reason why we're able to do this is because, full disclosure, Warframe and Digital Extremes are sponsoring this episode. Which, of course, is leading a lot of people to wonder, well, doesn't that automatically mean Excalibur is going to win because they're sponsoring the episode? So real quick, I know we've talked about this before, so I won't spend too much time on this. The reason why we don't have very many of these types of episodes, in fact, it's only happened like twice, is because if a company wants to sponsor an episode with their character, we are very particular about 2 things. One, we need to be able to control what the matchup is. So it was our choice to present the idea of Ryden as the matchup. And 2, we need to have control over who wins. So whoever wins this matchup is up to us, not the sponsor.
And believe me, if we were to compromise those morals, we would have made a lot more money.
Yeah, seriously.
In a lot of other situations.
Every time I bring this up, I do see some confusion over our regular sponsors, right? There are 2 types of sponsors for Death Battles. There are the normal sponsors, that sponsor pretty much every episode, that are frankly like the lifeblood of our funding for the show.
Blue Chew, all those things.
Yeah, without them sponsoring each season, it would be very difficult to make sure that we can pay our animators and our researchers and writers and whatnot.
Make the show.
They are very important to the show, but they have little to no control over episodes at all. In fact, most of the time, they end up buying episodes either before episodes or like matchups are decided, or after like it's already been written or whatnot. Like for the most part, they just don't care, right? Like they want to support the show in general, not specific matchups.
Yeah.
But then there's this type of sponsorship, which is either a sponsor comes to us or we go to them, depending on the situation, with an idea and it evolves into something different where we are directly working with the sponsor throughout the project. Like in this case, we were working with the Warframe guys to make sure that we were representing their game and their characters as well as we can, especially because Warframe is a very complicated
Yeah.
Dude, it's also
maybe
so
not complicated,
nice.
just big
Like,
game that's been around for a very long time. Yes, it's nice
it's
to
like when we worked
hey
on
guys,
like Ruby
what
or
is
Red
this?
versus Blue. We were like, this is incredible. We can just email them and be like, did
Yeah.
you mean this here or this? You know, like it's amazing.
And the
Yes.
wiki is like, I'm sure it's useful for people that are playing the game for like gameplay purposes, not useful for versus purposes. Very like, it's not the same kind of like where it's like, ooh, feats and ooh, like stuff like this. It's a lot of gameplay stuff. So it was extremely useful to have them as like a resource.
Yes,
and we did
especially since
our research did like really, really well. I remember there was one call where they were like, can we talk about this feat? Because like, I don't think Excalibur's ever done this. And we were like, yeah, he's done it right here. And we sent them a link and they were like, okay, he has.
yeah.
Must have been nice.
Yeah,
like that's just such a far cry from like any episode I've done research on. I can't imagine being able to just call up like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes,
the
hello,
creator
Daddy
of
Warframe.
Voltron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Like that's pretty remarkable. I'm glad it worked out for you. I'm only a little jealous.
They were cool too.
So-
They really cared. Like I know one of the notes we got back on the script, we had to change a line because it was like, technically what you're saying is correct, but it could be misinterpreted this way. We want to make sure that that's clear. So say it like this, and we were like, okay.
Yeah,
I would love to.
yeah. It's this is why we don't really do a lot of episodes like this. Is we want to make sure we are working with people who understand Death Battle, understand what we do, and also trust us to like know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Which means this is only like the second time we've ever done this. So if you want an example of this, go check out The Boys, the 7 battle royale that we did in 2020, I believe. I really like how that episode turned out, but that was also sort of a similar situation. All right, so that episode is coming very soon, actually. I believe it's coming out next week, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real quick.
yeah, on the 10th.
Soon.
So, yeah, very, very, very soon. Noelle has been directing that. Nick, have you been editing that? Was that you or Gerardo?
That's me. Well, no, it's both of us. Gerardo did the Ryden section, and I've basically been handling almost everything else. There's another section that Gerardo handled as well, but I'm just going to save that for when you guys get to watch. It's a little bit of a special episode.
Yep, as a bonus episode should be. All right, so that is coming out this upcoming weekend, and then after that, Desk of Death Battle will be debuting for its own season, and then we are coming back in September for the second half of Death Battle Season 9. What is that episode going to be? Well, the people who are at the panel know, but I'm going to hang on to that for just a little bit, all right? We'll have a reveal later on.
Oh, all
right.
Hey, you get to see the video that we couldn't get to work at the panel is what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, later on, we made a little reveal teaser. It's nothing, super special, but I worked on a little reveal teaser for it. I was like, we're gonna end the panel with this
It's gonna be
teaser
really cool,
reveal.
yeah.
It's gonna be epic, cool music, blah blah blah. And then we get to the end of the panel, and the computer that we were working on locks up. And it's like, well, guess we're not showing that video.
I was like, no, we can probably get someone up here, and then like 2 people in the back are like, because we were at time, and we're like, all
Yeah,
right, well,
we had like 2 minutes left. We're like,
Thanks,
there's not enough
guys.
time.
Yeah.
Oh well. All right, so we do have a community death battle to get to, a potentially very wacky one. Today we are going to be covering Scooby-Doo versus Courage, the not so cowardly dog. Maybe we'll see. So here's how this is going to work. Nick is going to be arguing for Scooby-Doo. Liam is going to be arguing for Courage. It is their job to convince the jury that their character will win a death battle. And the jury consists of 3 seats, me, Chad, and all of you in the chat right now. So you can go ahead and also let us know in the chat who you think should win and why. If one of these guys gets their facts wrong, let them know in the chat.
Obliterate us.
But let's go ahead and start with opening.
I just want to do a
statements.
quick thing because I saw a lot of things about it.
Or
If this
not.
feels familiar, we didn't actually ever do this on Death Battle Cast. We did it on Sudden Death with Genevieve because she really wanted to talk about it. So it's never been on an actual episode. So if you're a first member and you watch that Sudden Death, that's why this might feel a little familiar. But now we're doing it proper.
That is right.
And if you
that is
tried to
right.
correct us by saying that we've already done it, boom, destroyed, owned, annihilated, obliterated.
Yeah.
Kaboom.
Jenna was very passionate about this matchup. We have multiple people
So am I.
who are passionate about this matchup.
I'll explain
which,
why. I'll explain why.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
curious. I'm curious. But
Okay.
all
I mean,
right, so let's go ahead.
Different
and
from my
start.
pitch. Different from my.
Well, let's start with you then, Liam.
Let's do
You
it.
can
Let's do it.
combine
This is not
with
the
your
explanation
6
of why I want to
seconds.
do the episode. This is the explanation for why Courage is gonna fucking destroy Scoobert the Dubert. The big difference
Ew.
between Courage, Cowardly Dog, and Scooby-Doo as franchises is that more often than not, almost always in Scooby-Doo, the threat is not real. It's when the threat is like a real thing, like a real monster. It's an intentional subversion of the Scooby-Doo trope. The Scooby-Doo trope is that the monsters aren't real; they're just dudes in costumes. And even when they are real, and even when they aren't real, Scooby-Doo runs away from them. And it's usually as a combined effort that they set a trap that they're able to outsmart whatever the threat is. Courage the Cowardly Dog is very smart. He does set traps, but he also just fights these things. And these are real monsters. These are real demons and horrific fucking entities that he fights on a daily basis. And while Scooby-Doo as a franchise is generally, I'm sure Nick is going to bring up some cartoony stuff, but generally more down to earth, Courage the Cowardly Dog is not. Courage the Cowardly Dog is fucking insane cartoon bullshit. Courage is completely indestructible.
All right. Okay. Nick, do you have a counter? 60 seconds.
You know, Liam, you talk about how Scooby's villains are never real. That is so false. He's fought so many real things over the years: zombies, vampires, werewolves. Not to mention, this is about as real as it's going to get in the, greater Warner Brothers circle of properties. But he's fought the Joker. He's fought Black Manta. He's fought freaking, I don't know his name, but it's some villain from The Flash. Like this guy scales
The
to
trickster.
some of the heaviest hitters in fiction, more so than I think you're giving him credit for. Not to mention the fact that even outside of corporate synergy type things, he's also alongside Shaggy spun around in a ballet dance fast enough to destroy the universe, as depicted by some alien holding the universe in a little snow globe. He scales to Shaggy, who has Ultra Instinct powers. He's fast enough to dodge lightning, and he can eat anything. He eats rocks. He eats foghorns, and then uses that to guide a ship to safety through the fog. I
More
don't
to
see
come.
how he's going to lose
I
to
like-
Courage so easily.
I did not
I like
think of the
how-
Kirby aspect.
I like how the argument is like he scales to DC Herald. He's destroyed
ate
the
a rock.
universe. Also, he eats rocks.
Yeah.
He can eat a rock.
You
Yeah,
can't
okay.
see my
I
notes
wanna
right
point
now,
out,
but
he
one of
scales
my
to some
bullet
the
points
most
is just
powerful
ate a rock.
characters in fiction, like the Joker. Okay, all right, interesting, very fascinating. Yeah, I know that there is some Warner Brothers synergy, corporate synergy there with Scooby-Doo, but as far as I know, it's nothing that's actually super crazy. Why don't we? I don't know how do I want to? Let me look at my notes.
Well, while you do that, let me toss this out. So, Nubian
Yeah.
Princess, who's one of our mods, who we got to meet at RTX, by the way. So, hi, is currently modding from her car on her way
Whoa.
home from RTX, but then says
Better be parked.
Scooby actually won in WWE WrestleMania.
What? I missed that. On that note, you I think you're very much downplaying Liam Scooby's fighting ability, because he and Shaggy both have equaled a samurai in sword combat, and this samurai was strong enough and skilled enough to chop a bridge in half. Long
Okay.
ways.
Okay,
Not
yeah.
not
Okay.
short ways.
I
long
I guess we'll
ways.
start there.
Hot dog style.
I guess we'll start
Sorry.
there. Courage once screamed so loud he shattered the sun like glass.
This is true.
So I think that's actually, I didn't do the math for it, but I think that actually might be more than cutting a bridge in half. What's also
Yeah, but
interesting about
I'm
that,
talking
and
about.
I think it's more of a, I kind of wanted to say that for later because it is kind of a big feat, but I think what's interesting about that is that when he screamed it and destroyed it, it literally shattered like glass, which means that Courage didn't just destroy his son. He did, but that's not the only thing. he turned it to glass first. It's very
You're going
similar
reality
to like,
warping.
yeah, like Popeye's, like when he punches stuff, it turns it into like eggs, right? Like, or like, you know, he turns like an anchor into fish hooks or something like that. There is a level of like cartoon force, like transmutation stuff, which he can do to other objects, as well as, of course, himself. Like one of the classics, Courage the Cowardly Dog gags is him like transforming his body, right, into different things. Usually when he's explaining, like he'll be like, you know, there's a thing over there, and he'll turn into it as he's like, yeah. That, and I was actually interested in this when I was looking it up. He actually is turning into that stuff. It isn't just the cartoon's way of visualizing how he's explaining it. He actually does transform into it. There are times when his transformation does like impact the world around him. Like he once unscrewed his head like a light bulb in order to get out of his leash, because he was like leashed to something, so he unscrewed it and then put it back in, and then escaped, or turned himself into mist in order to get into an air vent. So his transformations are real. They are in fact real.
I got two. I have two counters right away. To a few things you just said. So you talk about him screaming and shattering the sun. Need I remind you, Scooby shattered the universe like glass, the exact same way you're talking about the sun. The second thing is you talked about him turning into mist and stuff like that. It's funny you mentioned that, because there's a specific time when Scooby was in a fog so thick that he took a literal knife, and cut a circle out of it, and it just stayed like he's cutting through glass or something like that. I think he can just do stuff to mist in ways that normal people can't. I don't think Courage is necessarily safe.
So here's
I don't think that's I wasn't mentioning it as like a, but we'll get to it.
Here's a question.
Okay.
Here's a question that I have. This has been my big thing, because like when we talked about this on Sudden Death, I really got it because I loved Courage the Cowardly Dog, and so I was like just looking up gifs and stuff, and I'm very curious if you could think of a way that Scooby could in fact kill Courage, because the dog seems to be unkillable. He got scared and then ripped his own skin off.
He tore himself in half,
down to bones and heart. He's torn himself in half. He's become a puddle.
This monster grabbed his tongue and pulled so hard he turned Courage inside out. So it was like this little like jittering glorb, like kind of like dancing on the ground for a second. Just really gross.
That's horrifying. Gross. That's actually grotesque.
Well, I think
wager
also
that.
Go. No.
You go. I would wager that. You know, for all we know, Scooby could be more powerful because he's never been ripped inside out or cut in half or had his head ripped off.
Wow, neither have I, dude.
Yeah,
neither have I, bro.
Hey, I've never died, so I might be immortal.
I'm not a cartoon. Therefore, I am immortal. Also, Courage has, in fact, one of his transformations literally involved, and it was in the season 1, episode 2, Hothead. It's the one where, if you remember, I wanted to look it up to make sure that people knew I wasn't just making it up. Where it's the what's it called? Oh yeah. Eustace goes in for the anger management treatment, and he puts like the hair stuff, like the hair juice on him to like get his hair back. No, it isn't anger management. It's a hair thing. It's like a little thing that because he's bald, he wants hair. But what it does is it makes you like insanely angry, and you literally like blow up. And one of the ways that Courage was trying to explain to Eustace the downside of this chemical was that he always said he like, you know, envisioned himself blowing up, turned it, and then literally blew himself up into nothing. Like he blew up in like a little mushroom cloud, and the dust dispersed, and there was nothing left. And then it cuts to Eustace reacting and saying like, "Get out of here, stupid dog!" And he cuts back, and Courage is fine. So he can survive turning into nothing.
I'm also pretty sure that like Courage has been shattered like glass before. Like, hasn't he been like hit and then like cracked up?
Yeah,
like,
doesn't that happen like all the time?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a pretty frequent thing? He gets
I
dissolved
can't like
or turned to glass.
Specifically think of it, but like almost certainly. Like, the image is in my head. Yeah.
It is in my too. For some reason, I'm thinking of teeth. Like he did something with his teeth, and then it like. But anyway, it's been a long time since I saw the show.
He's got that
he's
big
definitely
old
been
cavity in his
disintegrated
teeth,
by
though.
explosions. I also want to add to that Zabrinsky. So okay, the reason I bring
Courage
up that
is one weakness. It's tooth decay. So
that's
which Scooby, as far as we know, has never had a cavity despite everything that he eats, including rocks. May I remind you?
I bring up that disintegration feat because I want to say, even if we take the Zabrinsky triangle at face value, at total face value, and say Scooby is a universe buster, so what? Like, he's not going to kill Courage. right? Like if Courage, like he might be more powerful than Courage in that instance, but if Courage can survive coming back from nothing, then even blowing up the universe isn't going to do anything. Like no amount of energy you throw at him is going to kill him because he can just regenerate from it.
Yeah,
and
but
this
if,
is-
if
and
Scooby
this
and
is-
Shaggy can destroy the universe that they're inside and still not be dead, and he doesn't even have to be reduced to nothingness.
Mm-hmm. Is
saying.
Courage strong enough to kill him? And the answer is maybe not. Maybe potentially not in terms of raw power. But two things. One, we know that Courage can scream so hard that he can transmute things into glass and then shatter them, which would bypass Scooby's durability. Second of all, universe didn't blow up. In that clip, it cuts out to like an alien holding a snow globe, kind of like that Men in Black thing, and it blowing up, and it's like that's the gag, it blew up the universe. But then we cut back to that scene, and the universe is still there. They're still in the theater that they were dancing in. The audience is still there. That weird ghost that they were dealing with was still there. Everything was still there. Everything was still
Doesn't
there.
that mean that they also have the power to restore it?
Yeah,
No.
I was about to say that.
Or that they destroyed a different universe?
Or did the alien also recreate
Yeah,
it?
like,
Who knows? Like
It is admittedly a pretty confusing clip because, like you said,
Which
there's no
I
clear
teed you
moment
up
where they
for before the
reconstruct
call.
the universe, but like
Such a
I
bastard.
don't think you can just completely disregard
I'm
the
not
fact that it
disregarding
zoomed.
it.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I
but
did a
you're-
two-parter answer.
Sure, I'm just saying it means something in the context of this show when it zooms all the way out from like the galaxy to like the little snow globe, and the snow globe, which is labeled the universe shatters.
Absolutely.
And then we zoom back.
Absolutely.
I think if I remember correctly, we zoom back into where the snow globe was, back to the ballet thing that's going on. That
so
still has
maybe
to
they
mean
didn't
something.
maybe they didn't shatter the universe. Maybe they was just powerful enough to shatter this alien snow globe that was containing the universe, and now the universe is free.
They let the universe go free. Yeah, it actually is possible that that actually is a legitimate way of looking at it, that all they did was shatter the barriers surrounding the
Leo,
universe.
now let's calculate.
Dimension.
Let's calculate how the glass,
A glass,
like
a
how
universe-sized
big a glass
You
globe
could.
would need to be to
Shit,
encompass
actually,
our
it's pretty
universe.
good. That's actually pretty good. I actually could do that.
We'll
That would be
find
a great
out.
calc.
There's now a poll in the chat. Vote to let us know if you think he destroyed the universe.
While they're voting on that, it's also worth pointing out that in the middle of these corporate synergy crossovers and stuff like that, it wasn't just they slapped the Penguin a couple of times. No. The Yellow Lantern ring was next to Scooby and Shaggy and Sinestro. It chose Scooby and Shaggy. Now
I would like to show this comic page because it's kind of incredible. The full thing, the full story of this is kind of incredible.
I did send this to Brian, so we should be able to pull that up in just a sec here.
Can we zoom into the top? Is that possible? Yes.
So yeah, I'm a little rusty on the Green Lantern lore and stuff like that, but I know for Green Lantern rings, this is the case anyway. It obeys whoever has the strongest will, or something like that. Can anybody answer if Yellow Lantern rings?
The
operate
yellow
under the
ring
same?
will go to
whoever has the greatest
someone
fear.
who can control fear or has the greatest
fear of all.
So the greatest fear of all, according to this, is Shaggy and Scooby together.
Because of course they are cowards.
Because they scare themselves all the time.
Which you're actually touching on something else that I want to dive into a little bit later on. But before we get to that, it's also worth pointing out that in at least one instance, Scooby-Doo it's kind of been implied, sort of had the powers of Superman a little bit. He's exposed to something called X kryptonite, like just the letter X kryptonite. And he starts flying around. He starts, it doesn't, as far as I am aware, it doesn't go into a huge amount of detail, but it seems pretty obvious to me that they're alluding to Scooby having general Superman type powers. And I think we don't need to, for this conversation, go into everything that Superman's capable of.
I just love Apom in the chat that just says Scooby is fear.
yeah. Sorry, I don't think we should skip over this Yellow Lantern thing so quickly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I see some people in the chat questioning it. I've never seen FU, that's my username. Great username. Say that I've never seen a ring abandon a host like that, and I think that's a testament to their power. Like they're
Yep.
able to pull a ring. So the rings do find people. So like I believe Hal's ring, for example, went and found him because his willpower, it detected that it was the best host, the most suitable host on Earth.
Yeah.
So Sinestro is deemed by his ring to be the best host for the best option for a host.
Yeah.
And then suddenly these two guys, specifically Shaggy, because Shaggy is the one who wears it, show up, and the ring is like, nah, bro, these guys are better.
Oops, my
and
bad.
it just abandons them.
But it still
incredible.
absolutely gave Scooby its power too, or
It did.
it acknowledged
It did.
Scooby.
It did.
Well, it almost treats Scooby as an extension of Shaggy in this regard.
Right.
And I mean,
It really
I'm pretty
does.
sure Hal can grant powers with his ring.
oh, wait
right?
a second.
Like,
It didn't go to Scooby?
it went to Shaggy.
It
But
went to
it's still-
Shaggy, but then they both got the costume transformation.
Yeah, like
But they
it,
both
that's what
got
I'm
the
saying.
Shaggy
It still,
needs
it
to
still
be
acknowledged
there.
him.
It's still,
It
the
went
Shaggy
to, well,
needs
it
to be there
specifically
to
says
have it in a fight.
It specifically says Shaggy Rogers and
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo of Earth, you have the power to instill the greatest fear of all.
But it didn't go
It-
to Scooby. So
it
in
directly
a
calls
death
out
battle,
both
you
of them
need to
and goes to
have
both of them.
Shaggy there in order to...
I mean, it goes to Shaggy because Shaggy has a finger for the ring.
Yeah, right.
Scooby has a little bead. He has a little dog paw. Go in his little.
You're talking about his Dew Claw?
What?
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 The Dew Claw? It's that
But
weird
either
little-
way, it
little thing.
gives
Sure,
them both
yeah,
the
that
power.
thing.
None of us had any idea what you were
Dog
talking
knuckle.
about.
I got scared for a second. I thought I was like, I thought I was losing like my grip on reality. I never heard the word Dew Claw before.
Me neither.
But I just think, like, the fact that they possess the greatest fear of all is a feat in and of itself.
I agree.
Oh, for sure.
I agree.
Especially against somebody like Courage. Also, 59% of the chat believes that Shaggy and Scooby did destroy the universe. So there's that.
Yeah, I also want to add, that's also a great point that I forgot to mention, even though it's obvious. Scooby can't do that on his own. He needs Shaggy there to do it.
I mean, it's a pretty well established thing that like Scooby and Shaggy are a pair. Like they're always that I've seen anyway. They're always established as like equals. For instance, there's a point where Scooby and Shaggy have to lift up the mystery machine. It's just they're just lifting up one end of it, but both of them together are doing it. So I feel like whatever Scooby does, Shaggy does. Whatever Shaggy does, Scooby does, because they're almost never separated from each other.
Yeah,
that's
but
why
the dance is like a technique. You know, what I
Also,
mean?
so
Like,
many
it's a-
people in the chat jumped on this, so I have to call it out. That because of Dextra, the red like cat lantern has the ring on their tail.
Scooby
So-
beats Ben 10.
So Scooby could have had the ring on the tail.
Exactly like Dexstar.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
cats
Yeah.
are way smaller than Great Danes, which I don't know if you know this. Great Danes are quite large dogs. You know, the diameter
His
of their
tail's too
tail-
thick.
Well,
That's what I'm
ring
saying.
Can change, the ring can change shape.
Yeah,
It
doesn't
can,
that just mean
yeah,
that,
it should
doesn't that
absolutely-
just
yeah,
mean
'cause
that in this case it chose Shaggy because Shaggy's just the natural fit, being a human? But like in this case of this death battle, it could
I'm
go
not
to Scooby, no
arguing.
problem.
I'm not arguing that Scooby does not have like an equal amount of fear to Shaggy and thus the greatest fear in the universe. I think that is absolutely true. Interesting attempt at a feat though in a fight, but I do agree with it. I'm just saying for the sake of a death battle, I don't know if it would make sense to give him the yellow lantern ring because he's never had one. Shaggy had one and subconsciously imparted his powers onto Scooby. But maybe we're getting too technical because look, like Courage, A, like how much experience did Scooby have with the ring? And B, like Courage's like Toon Force powers and ability to like Toon Force himself and Toon Force the world around him is basically a Yellow Lantern ring, right? Just with fewer steps. You know, it's an imagination device. So I think at worst it just gives him some Toon Force, but doesn't actually give him access to like its full or not doesn't give him access, but Scooby wouldn't necessarily have its full suite of powers because it relies on your imagination and fear. And we don't know how Scooby would would use it, because Hal wasn't an expert at it at the ring when he first had it, right? He's gotten
He'd
better
use
at
it for
over
food.
time.
He
Oh,
would
he's
use it.
He'd use it for
1000%
food.
use
Yeah,
it
he
for
just
food.
create Scooby snacks. Yeah, absolutely.
that mystery is not so mysterious, at least to me.
Scooby is
Why
not
not
a
just
dog.
crush courage under food, under the weight of food that, or under food that equals the weight of a universe? Like,
Let's well, no, because then Scooby would just he would just regenerate. But I do have a durability feat. It's not like universe level, but it is like so insane that you could count it as something that's completely. Let me get in it. You're gonna like this. You're gonna dig this. So,
I think we've spent enough time on this feat. I think we can move on, Liam.
Courage was shot out of a giant cannon so hard that he blasted a hole through the moon with his own body, and then a giant alien with an enormous like moon-sized tennis racket smacked him all the way back to Earth, creating a dust cloud the size of a country. Now that's pretty crazy on the face of it, but not the full story, because in that same episode we actually got an idea of how strong that alien is. That alien also smacked an asteroid that was the size of Earth into Earth so hard that the planet spun and also orbited the sun so fast and so many times in only a few seconds that it went backwards in time 1,000 years, which means that within the span of a few seconds, it orbited the sun, or it spun around the sun. It spun around 365,000 times and orbited the sun 24,000 times. The span of a couple of seconds. Also went backwards in time, which is some fucking reality warping bullshit. And that speed comes out. So the speed at which Courage was hit, or it'd actually be faster because he's way less massive than the asteroid. But the speed at which the asteroid moved and imparted onto the Earth was 100,000 million billion, 427 billion times faster than light. That's the force that Courage was hit with when he was smacked by that fucking tennis racket.
Twice.
Yes. So that's pretty fucking cuckoo. Not universe level, but it also involves like a level of strength that manipulated
Warp, time
time.
and space.
Yeah. So
but when you're
that
dealing
counts for
with
something.
an alien who can smack the Earth around, does it really translate to smacking a dog around the same way?
Yeah, because he's still
There's
hitting,
a sentence.
he's still hitting with the same energy. It's just he's hitting an object with way less mass. But there's no reason to believe his swing is any weaker. You know what I mean? Oh, Ben is frozen to me, and he is liking my argument.
Same.
Ben, if you like my argument, smile. Ben, if you vote for Courage, smile. Ben, if you're going to give me $1,000 every day for the rest of my life, smile. Fuck yes. Fuck yes.
I love
Oh
when
my
this
god,
happens.
Ben is gone. He's gone. That feat was so impressive, it actually warped Ben out of reality.
There you go. Spin it, Liam. Spin it.
I'm just
Alright, what
going to
about-
keep eating chips to stall for time.
I
would
like to know,
find
so
a
Any
reason.
response to that, Nick? Chad.
So like we've hit a lot on like durability, and we talked about the like Shaggy Scooby like potential universe destroying. I think it's still what I said. I think it's still the containment of the universe, and I would
Which
love
is
to
still a
like
feat
try
that can
and
be
calculate
calc'd.
the glass. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But like, what about offensive abilities? Like, what have we seen Courage doing? Like, what is his like? Has he thrown something, attacked something, you broke it? So you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we haven't really talked about offensive abilities for both of them, other than like the Scooby-Doo universe feat. Sorry, my voice is already given out.
I mean, he has the sun destroying scream. He
That's
can
true. Oh, we did do
hypnotize
that.
people.
Yep.
He can turn invisible. He also has, and this is actually really good for Scooby for fighting other dogs. He has in his possession the God Bone, which is a gigantic, massive bone that if a dog licks it, it is so perfect of a bone that they will lick it until they die. They will just start licking it and be unable to move until they die.
So let's talk about the fact that you've had that shit in your pocket this entire time.
You gotta build up.
And he's up against the dog, the world's most hungriest, gluttonous dog.
He has a dog kryptonite against the most gluttonous dog ever. Yeah.
But if any dog is going to be able to conquer that, it's Scooby. Like,
No,
we're talking
it's
about
not.
we're talking
Scooby
about
has
the
the
dog.
worst
I can see
We're
what
talking
he's
about the
saying,
dog who ate so much food in like 10 seconds that he became a sumo wrestler, and he, along with Shaggy, rolled through multiple wooden walls and chased off 6 ninjas, trained assassin ninjas.
That's
I just
all
realized it doesn't
impressive.
sound very impressive in the face of what you just told me, but I really tried to sell it.
Oh no, the chat's got you though, Nick. The chat's got you. They're like, Scooby wouldn't eat it. Like, Scooby doesn't eat bones. Scooby always
That's
turns
freaking
bones
right,
down.
because they're vegetarians. They're Scooby
We
and
are
Shaggy
not
are vegetarians.
vegetarians. That is a
No,
lie. I have seen those
Shaggy's a
sandwiches.
vegetarian.
Shaggy's a vegetarian, that's for sure. Yeah.
Hold on a second. I got to do some research on the spot
I'm
here.
gonna see it, because if you can find one panel with Scooby-Doo eating a bone, you're screwed. Like, if you can find one clip, because this is the God bone. It's the
Well, it's
ultimate
also like
bone.
it also like literally attracts dogs. Like it has an ability, and like I think this is a thing. This is a case where
Oh
the
yeah,
feat
you're
that we talked
screwed.
about earlier comes in against Scooby. Yeah, because where if he got a Green Lantern ring, then you could argue that he has the willpower to resist it. But he didn't. He got the fear ring. Scooby has no fucking willpower. He's always terrified by the most basic shit ever. His willpower is nil. He'll run
And
away
look at his
from everything.
willpower of food. He even
Yeah,
takes
yeah,
food.
courage
He takes
is also
food from his
cowardly.
best friend all of the time. Like, Shaggy will make this whole amazing thing, and he's like, Scooby's like, I
Yeah.
know I shouldn't, but I want it,
yeah,
so I did.
like, Scooby, there was a time when Scooby and Shaggy each had like a triple scoop ice cream
how's it going?
sundae. Scooby takes 2
I agree.
napkins, covers both of them up, and says like a fake magic word or whatever, uncovers them. All 6 scoops are in his cup, right before Shaggy's eyes, right
Classic
before the
Scooby
audience's
gag.
eyes.
What do you think about that,
I'm-
Ben?
Yeah, dude.
Smile
I
if
agree.
you're good with that.
Smoke weed every day. But yeah, so I think I think Scooby has no impulse control. He has no willpower. He would never be able to resist the God Bone. And then once he's attached to it, he's just licking it like crazy. Courage would then just fucking eat him.
Hey, Brian, pull it up whenever you're ready. But in the meantime, we'll keep talking.
Oh, is Brian gonna pull something up?
Yeah, I sent him something.
Is it against?
Uh-oh.
Is it?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
No, not like this.
Not like
Not like
this.
this.
And just look at how happy Scooby is,
Not
dude.
like this.
This is exactly what it would look like. Like, it would
This
just be an
is the-
infinite, endless thing.
Right. This is the end of the fight right here. It's that forever until Scooby dies. Then
Yeah.
again, does Scooby age?
That
Yeah,
dog
because he was a puppy. Because
is
they got him
like
when he was a puppy.
60 years old. Like,
They got him
since
when he was a puppy.
1960 something, that show's been going on.
I know he got him when he was a puppy,
Yeah.
but what did something
He was in
happen?
Scooby-Doo
Or-
Goes to Hollywood. I remember that because I had that fucking movie as a kid.
Right.
They showed
But
the
I'm
flash.
saying,
Well, it's worth
did I don't know,
pulling
did
up
some weird
Scooby-Doo Apocalypse.
Bond magic happen to prevent them from aging? It's like it's like Clifford the Big Red Dog. The reason that Clifford's so huge is just because Emily Elizabeth loved him so much.
Is that true? Is that actually
Yes.
the canon reason?
Yep, that's
that is the canon reason.
We should throw Clifford in there. Make it a battle royale. I don't know if Clifford has any feats. I think he'd get
It's-
annihilated.
It's also worth
I love
bringing up
Clifford.
Scooby-Doo
I want Clifford to fight a
Apocalypse really
kaiju. I just
quickly.
want to
It's worth bringing up Scooby-Doo Apocalypse because that's a take on Scooby where it's, as the
Yeah.
title implies, like the post-apocalypse. As I understand it, Scooby is described as a smart dog prototype because he's got some like chip implanted in his brain. But he seems to be kind of like a cyborg dog.
I think in that, yeah, they all have
in
they're
this-
kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, this one is he's a little bit antithetical to the classic Scooby, admittedly, because he's not as cowardly. But I mean, like, just the cybernetic aspect of it. Conceivably, hypothetically, you would assume that prolongs his longevity quite a bit. So I don't know. I don't know about the aging thing.
I want to throw this out there because people are asking in the chat, wouldn't Courage bringing out the bone screw Courage over too? And the answer is no. I believe it's his love for Muriel. He actually was able to summon the willpower to resist it.
do for love.
Exactly. And he
Yeah.
actually
The two of them-
he kept the god bone and like brings it out every once in a while to like kind of chew on it and be like, because it's still good. He
So
he
wait,
actually
so
did
so it's
overcome
so
it.
insanely amazing that any dog that chews on it will do it until they die, and he can not only never started chewing on it, he then decided I'll try it as a snack and has the willpower to stop.
Yeah. He like at the end of the episode, I remember he brings it out. He's just like he like nibbles on it a bit, and he's like, he does like the laugh, and it cuts. It ends. Yeah. He's like sitting at Muriel's feet.
Wow.
Yeah. Because Courage obviously does have a lot of willpower. Because Courage is not cowardly at all. He's very brave. He never runs from his. He's scared.
Well, that's
He
true
always
bravery is
fights-
overcoming
he's-
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ned Stark.
Scooby is always instrumental in overcoming whatever threat that they face too. Like, granted, he is part of a group, so they have to give the other characters, ways to shine and contribute and
You have
stuff
to
like
give
that.
the other
But-
characters.
Yeah,
Velma's the MVP. That's what the V
She-
in MVP stands for.
she really is. But like, it's part of the classic Scooby-Doo formula that Scooby and Shaggy's screw-ups are what always like stop the bad guy and leads to them being apprehended.
And they're bait. They're usually
in the end.
bait for the bad guy, if I recall correctly.
That's pretty typical, yeah. But I don't know, man. Scooby he's way more capable than I think people generally give him credit for.
It's like, wasn't there a thing? Wasn't there like a certain type of Scooby snacks that like gave Scooby superpowers at times?
That sounded so familiar to me. I wasn't able to find anything on that.
I'm betting there is.
But that when trying to find that's when I found stuff like the Yellow Lantern ring and the X Kryptonite thing, which again implied to be the powers of Superman. Like you can't quite undersell that. You know what I mean? Like you got to respect that.
But like, what if Superman spent the rest of his life just just chewing on this bone?
If anybody's going to be able to conquer, I can't believe this is a sentence I'm about to say. If anybody's able to conquer the bone, it's going to be Superman. I don't like the way I made that sound, but
I don't think that
Ben, your
just having
thoughts?
Superman's powers, even if that were true, would give him. Yeah, Ben, smile if you think what I'm about to say is
This is
super
my
fucking
favorite.
smart. Fuck yes, not even hesitation. Superman's power, even if he does have Superman's powers, we're doubtful. Even if he does have Superman's powers, Superman is the reason Superman has his willpower is because of his personality of his person. There are tons. There are a planet full of Kryptonians, and they're just people. They have a variety of different personalities, and none of them, not all of them, are. They have as much variance in terms of willpower as a human population does. I mean, they're basically just space humans. So it's Superman. It's Superman himself, Clark Kent, Kal-El, that gives him that willpower. And in fact, I believe Clark Kent was actually originally going to be the receiver of Hal Jordan's ring, or he was either the first one or he was the second on the list in case Hal died.
Also, I would argue that Courage
just a
could
fun
beat
fact.
Superman because he could scream and shatter the sun.
Yeah, fuck you. Oh, that's a good point. Even though technically in that scene, light still existed. So,
well,
Maybe it
but
doesn't apply
again,
to
we can bring up
sunlight.
the sun thing all day, but as we've polled the chat and the chat has voted yes on this, Scooby gets the universe. You know what I'm saying? He shattered.
He
the
can't kill him.
universe.
It doesn't
But that's
matter.
the thing is, like, you know exactly how that would go. If this was the crossover episode and that happens, and let's say the universe shattered, even though I really do think it's still like the globe of the universe or whatever.
It still would be
what
much
happened?
more
It'd be
than
like
one sun. Either way.
it would all like get sucked into like a little hole. It'd be like boop, and then there would Courage be just floating in space.
Yeah. Because
And then he'd
remember,
do his little
Courage can
catchphrase.
survive being completely disintegrated. So you can hit him with a universe-destroying blast. In fact, if we were calcing the glass, it's probably more than just universe busting, because the universe is mostly empty space. So if you treat the glass as one solid object, which it is, and it's circling the entire universe, that means its mass is like definitely way more than the universe. So it would be a way more than universe busting feat. But even with that, it's like it was like a beam, it was like a glow of light that did it, right? That from the Zabriskie triangle feat, they created like a light that glowed so bright it destroyed the universe. It would just vaporize
Sheer
Courage,
energy output.
and Courage would just hop back.
Yeah, but once more, I think, granted, this is a high ball for Scooby, but if we're going to say that Scooby and Shaggy caused that universe-shattering thing, like they're literally the epicenter of it.
Yeah.
they're surviving and withstanding it too.
I absolutely, which is why I bring up once again the sun destroying feat, because it turned the sun to glass. It bypassed the sun's durability, which is a dumb sentence. But if Courage can do that to the sun, he did it to Scooby too, and Scooby would just shatter glass. Scooby doesn't have no resistance to being shattered by glass. He doesn't have any healing factor or regeneration, as far as I recall.
He doesn't need a healing factor though. Like this dog has been squished and smashed and stuff like that, and he either is just completely fine, or like there's one time when he got squished squished up against the wall by a door, and he's just completely flattened. He's fine. He just like wiggles his way, onto the next scene while being
sure, he has
like
some
as thin as a
malleability.
pancake.
That's not going to help him from being cracked like glass. Plus, Courage can turn into a giant kangaroo monster. Get wrecked.
All right,
It's a giant
hey, I'm
kangaroo
going to pause
monster,
this
if you
here
remember
since
that
Ben is
episode.
gone. And who knows? He's in the void.
He's
And
gone forever.
we're going to show the stuff that we need to do. We don't even need to go to the intro of what's going on. Screw it. We're running low on time. So first off, let's show whatever we're supposed to show. I think it was going to be probably the announcement that we were going to show at the panel. I don't think we have another preview besides that. Brian, you let me know. Great. Well, you don't have anything? Oh,
I think we talked about not doing a thing.
my bad. I thought we were going to show that. So sorry if I got y'all's hopes up because we don't have it. In that case, let's get to the
Awkward,
community death battle. Great, cool. Bring up the answers. Let's go. Doing the first one. Right, Ben? Sure are. All right. This one comes from Odd Mega Man. You know what, Nick? I'm going to leave it to you because my voice is shot. You get this one.
Ooh, I want to read the other
Awesome.
one. Then.
Yeah.
Odd Mega Man 99 says, gonna give it to Scoob. He has busted Toon Force, and while Courage has faced real monsters before, Scooby has as well, even if it wasn't nearly as much. No, don't downplay him. And has a lot more experience in tackling creepy stuff. Also, there was at one time Scooby and Shaggy became Yellow Lanterns, who Sinestro himself stated had more power than him, so if you use that, Scooby stomps.
It's just
Perfect.
the same tired arguments over and over again.
We've gone in a
let's
couple
see.
of circles this conversation, haven't we?
Well, let's see what the next one is. And Liam, you take this one.
I love reading these. Courage. Oh, this is from Hawk of Krypton. And this is 34 minutes ago, or 34 minutes before it was screenshotted. Courage has mastered cartoon physics-based shapeshifting, survived and deals with far more dangerous stuff than Scoob, and shattered the sun by screaming. That's just a few reasons why Courage, and it cut away before
Same
I
old
could finish
tired
Go back,
argument
go back,
I've heard
go back.
100 times.
why Courage takes the golden bone here. Yeah, that's a pun, kind of. That's like a
Mhm.
that's like a slighted. Yeah, it's like approaching a pun. It's like approaching a pun. Bone would need to have some relevant. I mean, I guess it does, but it's not full. But no, but it's
All
got-
right.
it's a good job.
I got a question. How are we going to
yeah.
count Ben's vote? Ben,
Well,
smile
I asked him
if you like
I
Scooby
asked
more.
him. No, I asked him if I said, "Hey, Ben, a smile if you think Courage wins," and he fucking smiled, dude.
Hey, I'll
So-
text him. Hang on.
Yeah, give him a call and put his answer into the microphone.
By the way, if it wasn't mentioned earlier in the call,
Wait, I think he joined.
Oh,
Ha!
Oh my
He's
God,
back
back,
just in
baby.
time. All right, we just read the
I'm
community
back
answers.
with the power of
With the power of love.
internet is dead. So I'm hiding it.
All good. I was
Oh,
about to
shit.
text you. I got the show back on the rails. We just did community answers. We're about to get into the vote.
Great.
Ben, I
I'm
think the only
voting
like
for
really big
cat dog.
yeah, perfect.
Yeah, dude.
And I think the only really big revelation that you missed was that of the God bone.
Yeah,
and
That
and
sounds
is-
like something that was very important to understand. Let's get to the
Which-
vote.
and that is that Courage possesses a bone that if any dog starts eating, they will eat it until they die.
like there are like
Except for
skeletons
Courage.
attached to
That's
it.
awful.
supposedly.
Oh no. Oh no, poor
That's the only
Scooby.
big thing we covered.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say this
I don't know how
before I
long
forget.
before it. So let's get to this vote.
All right, yeah, we got the poll going.
So I have
So
an
we're-
amazing death battle idea
So Ben,
for Clifford.
before you get pulled back into the void, cast your vote. God damn it.
Oh, he's thinking about it.
Okay. That was epic. That was so fucking hype. Wait, Ben, say it. Say your vote. Hurry. You're gonna cut out again.
holding
know you're
still.
there.
He's holding. He's
I
messing
get
with. I
it
saw
now.
you move. You're not that good of an actor,
Nah.
man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Damn it!
You
I should've
had
been
me
leaning
the first
against the
one,
chair.
though.
No, he didn't the first time. Or maybe he didn't.
I'm gonna vote for courage.
Why you do me like this?
I'm so sorry, Nick, but I am also wholeheartedly for courage. I was going into this, but I tried to keep an open mind. But yeah, sorry, courage it is. You almost had me with the Green Lantern ring, but Godbone brought me back.
Yep.
The God Bone.
Again, that's another sentence. Did it have to be called the God Bone? It just makes
It's
any
such a
sense
death
to use it
battle
and
sounding.
sound very weird. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of came into this expecting to hold an L, and I got it. I've got the L.
Well, no, we don't
Right
have the
here.
we don't have the.
We don't
chat
have
yet.
the chat results yet,
I guess that's true, but
or the community poll. Let's
we'll
hit
have
the
to see, we'll have to
community.
see.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh.
Community
Oh, I
poll.
thought you guys said you had done the community.
Oh,
Holy
what
crap!
My goodness.
Wait, how do we do this?
Oh, courage is one
That-
pixel more though, but it's okay. We'll
I
That
wasn't
counts
going
as
to point
one
that
for
out
each.
because that
That
wouldn't help
counts as
my
one
case.
for each.
But
Wait. There is an odd number of votes. No, wait.
There are.
Wait.
an odd
Okay,
number of votes.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at likes.
Yeah,
Do we
this
know?
will-
Do we know how many votes there were? Whatever. Okay.
I mean, it wouldn't be. A public record, it would just be.
Also, I don't know if I'm like stuttering a lot because of I'm
You're not,
going
you're
off
good.
of my phone,
You're
and
going
not my
alright.
actual internet.
Beautiful.
Wow. Okay. Awesome job, phone. Good job. Okay. So then we have 2 votes for courage, right? And then 1 vote that is just nothing. It's a tie. How do we? I guess that counts as 2
I mean,
votes
you-
for each, right?
Yeah, 3 to
Yeah.
1.
Or a vote for each, right?
Yeah,
So
vote
a
for
vote
each,
for
for sure.
Scooby, a vote for courage. So we got 3 to 1. Which doesn't mean that it's impossible to tie. But I do need to know what the chat poll is at, and so we can go ahead and end that.
yeah, like I
Man.
said, this is an L that I was expecting to hold. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
I'm just.
I
a bastard.
really want to do this. As a
Courage.
legit-
I
So
do
courage
too.
wins 59% of
I do
that
too,
poll.
genuinely.
So
It'd be
somehow,
really funny
despite
if
us
it-
only having 4 opportunities to vote, we have a 4 to 1
Yeah,
win.
interesting.
Sure. That's the new rules, I guess.
Oh fuck! I didn't get the.
People are gonna like try to force a tie. This is great.
I'll probably be back the
okay.
next time we have a matchup for a character that starts with S. Because I've done
I just-
Scooby, Splinter, Shredder. I'm on an S streak.
And Swan, Liam, Swan.
Yeah, there
Connor,
you go. We
Liam.
can do Spawn. Hey, Spawn would be
Yeah,
fun to
I
talk
can
about
do
again.
Switch
I
Liam
love
Swan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect.
Arguing
Spawn.
for
I thought you
who
said
he would
Spawn.
probably gonna fight against.
I just like that in this debate, I awakened something in Liam, and I know he's going to be thinking about calculating how much glass it would take to encircle the
Oh
universe.
yeah, that's
right now.
actually a fun calc. That'd actually be great. I also want to point out because you said I want Clifford to fight a kaiju.
Kaiju?
This could be our next mythology battle: Clifford versus Fenrir, the wolf
Oh.
that devours Odin in Norse mythology. Yeah,
That's interesting.
and he
There
devours
apparently
the
is like a
sun.
dog lion kaiju. Somebody in the chat mentioned it earlier, so that would be fun.
Season.
The one from the Mechagodzilla movie.
That's King Caesar,
What's
right?
his name?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. They said it was King Caesar. Yeah.
I don't think it's a dog. I think it's a monkey. I could be wrong.
It's a mythical
It's kind
creature.
of-
I can't remember exactly
yeah.
what it is, but it is dog lion esque.
Or Cerberus.
yeah.
The 3-headed dog. I don't know how
Clifford
big
versus
Cerberus
Cerberus.
is, but
I like Fenrir.
Cerberus's size
The sun
it depends
devourer.
on whichever iteration it is. Sometimes he's
for
just
the big
like
red
a
dog,
giant
the
dog, sometimes
Cerberus
he's just
3-headed
little.
dog.
Perfect.
Battle the mutated dogs.
Why are we trying to put Clifford into a death
I don't
battle?
know. I don't
It's
know.
hype as fuck.
There was something about the shaggy.
Clifford's just a big
blonde.
lovable fluff ball.
Who
You
could
don't want to
Arthur
see Clifford
fight?
fight anybody.
Who could
Clifford
Arthur
versus
Reed
Arthur.
fight?
There we go.
Arthur
It's just
clutches his fist.
Two things that are just like I don't know how to attack. All right, I think that's a great place. It's not, but that's a great place to wrap up today's Death Battle cast.
As good a place as
Okay.
any.
Glad you made it back.
Yes, to wrangle you crazy.
My
people
favorite
in.
part was when Chad pulled up the GIF and Nick said very genuinely, "Not like this."
Wow,
Because I've had
okay.
that moment in chats or in these debates, and I just have to
Yup.
like
Well,
suffuse it into myself. I have to go,
Thank you all for watching, whatever this was. Again, Excalibur versus Ryden debuts this weekend. And after that, we will be airing episodes of Desk of Death Battle.
Death of Death
until
Battle.
Death of Death Battle until Death
Yeah.
Battle returns
Battle Desk
this
Death.
September. Okay, guys, we're good. We're done. The show's over.
Get out of
Wrap
here.
it.
Get out of here.
Wrap it.
We're wrap. All right,
Bye,
thanks for
everybody.
watching. As always, what's my usual send off? Take care
Be
of
nice.
yourselves.
Be
Take care of
kind to
others. Be
others.
nice. Be awesome. I don't know. My internet's broken.
Hasta la
I probably
pasta.
sound weird. Bye.